Hi and welcome to a CommBox control video. In today's video we're going to look at the Joey editor and in particular hotkeys, how to assign them and why would we use them. Essentially in Joey's we have a fixed screen, but we can also have multiple screens, virtual screens. Now you'd want these virtual screens for a couple of reasons. One would be indication to show the end user what mode or what menu they're in. The second one would be to have multiple functions within the one key. So let's just go ahead and have a look at the hotkeys. So we go into edit behavior mode, and if we hover over each of the buttons, we can see all those buttons are green. Now the green represents the normal key, and a normal key will have its function only on that one screen. So at the moment we have our current screen is off up here. But if we look at that, we only have that one screen, so that's fine. So let's go ahead and add some hotkeys, and it's just in row and column. So row 1, column 2 is this button, and we probably want the on button to do the same thing every time. We want the off button to do the same thing every time. Same with the volumes. And HDMI 1 is only ever going to call HDMI 1. So now if we OK that, we can see now that our keys are gone yellow except the HDMI 2.3 key, and that's because we're going to do 2 commands on the one button. So now that we've gone ahead and done that, we can create some new screens. Now you can create a new screen through the current screen drop down, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend duplicating the screen through the screen menu, and then we just give it another name and duplicate it again. It will keep it at 2, and the third time. Okay, so now when we look at our current screen, we can see that we have 4 screens. We have the off, HDMI 1, HDMI 2, and HDMI 3. So let's go ahead and add the functions to the HDMI button and the HDMI 2.3 button. So if we double click HDMI 1, click our code set, open up our CommBox control protocol, and we're going to call HDMI 1. And there it is, it's appeared there on that button, so that's great. Now on the same screen we're going to call HDMI 2 on the HDMI 2.3 button. So again we're on the off screen, HDMI 1, HDMI 2. Now if we drop down to our HDMI 1 screen, we can see on the HDMI 1 button that control is still there. But on the HDMI 2.3 it's gone missing because we're on a normal key, we're on a different screen, and now we want to add different functionality into that. So we might want to have not that one, HDMI 3 on that one. If we look at HDMI 3, different screen, but yet HDMI 1 is still there because of the hotkey. And on this button we have no functionality at all, so we can probably add HDMI 2 back in there. Now to access the different functions within the different virtual screens, we use the go to. So if we look here again in our dialog box down the bottom left corner here, we have this actions section, and we can go to. Now this will send us to a particular screen depending on when that button is pressed. So if we look here, HDMI 1, when we single click that now, it jumps across to HDMI 1, and a single click on that button takes it to HDMI 2. So we've sent HDMI 2 command and we've jumped to the HDMI 2 screen. Now this is just a 2.3 toggle, so in this screen we might want to go to HDMI 3 and send the HDMI 3 command. So now we'll click that, We're on HDMI 3, and that's the function we added in earlier, but we want to go back to HDMI 2, and now single clicking on that 2.3 button toggles between the 2.3 screen and the 2.3 code to the touch panel. But all this time, because of the hotkey, HDMI 1 is sending HDMI 1. Now you also notice that I only had to program that button once, and didn't matter what screen I went to, that button always has that code in it and that go-to function in it. So we can create a single button press on every screen. And normal keys in this instance we're using to toggle between two different inputs. To show where we are, when we go to HDMI 1, single click, we're back at HDMI 1. Now we want to show the user we're on HDMI 1, so we can use this LED state up here. So we just go on, and you can see the little blue light up there has come on. Now when we click away or we click this button, after I add the go-to in, and the correct command, the indication's gone because we've moved away from the HDMI 1 screen. So now we want to add the on button. So now we're showing that we're in HDMI 2. Again, a single click takes us to HDMI 3, and we'll do that by flashing so you can see the difference. So there we have two different screens with different LED states and different codes on the one button. Buttons that you would normally use for hotkeys, again, single action buttons, buttons that you use the same thing all the time. So your volume's a really good one, and the off button. The off button generally only ever does an off. So again, we hit the off command, hit the go to off screen, click OK, and that was done on the HDMI 1 screen. But when we click that, it has jumped us to the off screen, and if we double click it, we can see that the functions we added on the different virtual screen are still there on the off screen. And we're on the off page, so we'll turn the LED state on, and there we have it. So hotkeys are really great for saving time when we want to build a big config up and we have the same functions on every virtual screen, and normal keys are great for adding different functionality to the same button if there's limited buttons available and you need extra ones. That's just a quick way of doing it. Thanks for watching.